Hey, Bill O'Reilly here. Welcome to the No Spin News for Tuesday, June 28, 2022. Stand up for your country. We had a very big audience last night. I'm very happy about that because it was an excellent broadcast. If you did not see it and you are at all interested in the Supreme Court rulings on abortion and guns, you can access it if you are a BillO'Reilly.com premium member, and I hope you will be, so I don't have to come to your house and pitch it directly to you. But anyway, we were very proud of the broadcast last night. We may have a better one tonight because we have the governor of South Dakota, Kristi Noem, and we have the very famous Greta Van Susteren, both on the broadcast this evening. So let's get right to it. American fascism is the subject of this evening's Talking Points memo. So when you think of the word fascism, you think Hitler, Mussolini, Franco in Spain, and the criminals who ran Japan before World War II. All right-wing, but now the word has taken on a different meaning because it is the left in America that has embraced fascism. First, the definition. Let's take a look at it. Quote, a political system headed by a dictator in which the government controls business and labor, and opposition is not permitted. So it is apparent to any thinking person that is what the progressive left wants in this country, a form of fascism. And there is no doubt about that if you follow the news every night. Now, let me give you some examples recently of fascist behavior. So in West Virginia, there is a Catholic church, St. Coleman. It is a historic place. It was burned to the ground this weekend after Roe v. Wade was announced. They attacked and burned St. Coleman Catholic Church to the ground. So the authorities in West Virginia haven't made any arrests. So they, I guess they're investigating. They have to be, right? How about the Mother and Child Education Center, Portland, Oregon? Saturday, June 25th, group of black-clad marchers turned violent in that city, smashing windows, scrawling graffiti on downtown businesses, and it was all in reply to the Supreme Court ruling. How about the Life Choices Pregnancy Center? Okay, this was in Longmont, Colorado, and authorities there are investigating a fire at a pregnancy center that was not burned to the ground, but badly damaged. And this pregnancy center did do abortion counseling as well as adoption counseling. So it wasn't like they were shutting out abortion. They were giving information about post-abortion support, all of that, but they were a pro-life centered enterprise. And finally, there are dozens of other examples around the country of fascist progressives doing violence. And don't expect many arrests. Don't expect many. Portland, Oregon, you think those people are going to be arrested? They're not. Now, West Virginia, you would think that they would be. Colorado, I'm not sure. But, just like the leaker in the Supreme Court, I'm not expecting any Justice Department revelations there. I hope I'm wrong. But you know as well as I do that the progressive left does not enforce the law unless it's a law they like. So, in addition to the violence, now we have lawsuits, and that's okay. Lawsuits, that doesn't come under the heading of fascism. So let me wrap up the Talking Points memo with, again, reminding you, fascism is not just on the far right. It's now being embraced by the far left. So, in Louisiana and Utah, there have been legal action, and the trigger laws against abortion are temporarily blocked there. In Arizona, the Center for Reproductive Rights filed an emergency motion to block a trigger law there. California is going to put abortion on the ballot to try to get it into the state constitution. That's okay. I mean, it doesn't affect what's going to happen with Roe v. Wade because California and New York and Illinois have the most extreme abortion laws in the world, as we told you last night. Not just a country, in the world. So California abortion laws are like China and Russia. You kill a baby, unborn, whatever description. Okay? At will, anytime, any reason. All right, in Idaho, Texas, and Mississippi, lawsuits have been filed, but not in South Dakota, so far as we know. So South Dakota does have a trigger law, and it is very anti-abortion. And it has been put into effect. Now the Supreme Court made its ruling, and it says that there is no longer abortion in South Dakota except to preserve the life of the mother. So joining us now from New York City, where she is promoting her brand new book out today, is the governor of South Dakota, Kristi Noem. The book is called Not My First Rodeo, Lessons from the Heartland. We're going to get to that book. I haven't read it, but I've read an extensive outline of it. I know Ms. Noem, the governor, a little bit, not a lot, but I know her background, know what she's accomplished there in South Dakota. So first of all, let's get to this South Dakota Supreme Court situation. Your vision is abortion should be legal in South Dakota to protect the life of a mother. What about rape and incest?
Well, the trigger law that was passed in South Dakota in 2005 really envisioned a day when Roe might be overturned, and said that specifically it would, abolish abortion in the state of South Dakota except to preserve the life of the mother. Rape and incest were not addressed in the statute at that time, and so that is not law today. And really what this law does is it does not go after mothers. It does not go after women. What it does is prosecute doctors who knowingly violate the law and perform abortions. It would go after them and punish them. So,
all right. Along with Senator John Thune, you are the most powerful politician in South Dakota. Your vision counts among not only South Dakotans, but Americans. You've been actually talked about as a presidential candidate. So your vision is in South Dakota, abortions would be allowed if the life of the mother, a catastrophic health situation, and it would have to be affirmed by doctors, I'm sure, is in question. But rape and incest, what do you, Governor Noem, would you want to have a law that allows abortion in those cases? Would you?
No, I mean, I wouldn't, Bill. I think I'd rather see us walk alongside those mothers in crisis, get them the kind of support, help, mental and physical treatment that they may need after a tragedy like that. I just can't even imagine what they've gone through. But I also have just never been a believer that a tragedy should be perpetuated or followed up by another tragedy. And we know so much more about what happens to these babies in the womb, the development, the science has shown us the pain that they feel. And so in South Dakota, I think that where we stand as far as our law today is somewhere that I'd like to see it remain, but see us much more focused on supporting these women, especially in an unplanned pregnancy or a crisis situation, to where we are helping.
Would that support extend to the state of South Dakota, helping women who don't agree with you if they're raped and or a victim of incest, going to another state to have an abortion? Would South Dakota help with that?
I would not support that. I can't speak for my legislators. I can't speak for others in the state, but that would not be a policy.
So you are a pro-life person. You've held these beliefs for a long time. I can tell the audience that. You're not like Joe Biden who switches around, whenever the wind blows. You are a confirmed pro-life person. Okay. Now, on the gun front, this is interesting. Some heavy research into this. South Dakota ranks 7th in the lowest amount of homicides in the country. 7th, okay? You have no state law required to possess a shotgun, rifle, or handgun. So anybody in your state can possess that without a law, without the government even knowing about it. It's staying out of it. But if you want to carry, then you have to get a license. Is that correct?
Well, actually, Bill, when I became governor, the very first bill that I signed into law was constitutional carry. So no, they do not have to do that. In fact, this year, because it's a priority for me, I waived all fees for any kind of a permit that they might need in the state of South Dakota. In fact, I said that the state of South Dakota would now be paying for people's federal background checks as well. So it'll cost no.
So our
anything.
research is incorrect because the research here says, it's South Dakota research. If it's incorrect, tell me. No person shall carry a pistol concealed in any vehicle or concealed on his or her person without a license to carry, and the license is to be issued by the sheriff of the county involved. That's not the law now?
No, in 2019, the very first bill I signed as governor was
Knocked it
constitutional.
out. Okay.
Yep.
You know, I can't blame my staff. It's 19, COVID, and came in. It's my fault. I should have checked it. Okay, so you have very liberal gun carry laws, but you don't have any murders to speak of. Very, very few. Where, you know, you go to Chicago, which is not an easy drive, but not a bad drive from South Dakota, and they have very strict gun carry, gun possession laws, and they got unbelievable amount of homicides. Why? What's the difference?
Well, I appreciate the honest conversation, Bill. I think it's refreshing that's really what we need to be talking about is, do more gun laws really lower violence and rates of occurrence in many of these states? And that's just not true. So the conversation that Congress has been having, and by passing this bill, I love the fact that they're focusing on mental health and that people are talking about that and addressing, having more resources, but passing more gun laws and restrictions doesn't necessarily translate to less violence.
But do you know why? I mean, I did Vermont and New Hampshire last night. It's the same situation there. You can carry a gun, you can do whatever you want. They don't have any homicides. But in Chicago, they have all kinds of homicides, and so in New York City as well. Do you know why that's happening?
I think it's because those who perpetuate violence don't care about the law. They're going to get a gun.
So more criminals in Chicago and New York City than in Pierce, South Dakota, or Rapid City. That's what you're telling me, right?
Definitely our people are happier in South Dakota. They're free to work together. They take care of each other, and they have respect for each other. I think that play out.
So let's get on to your book. So you've had a fascinating career, in my opinion. You were the daughter of a rancher, and I guess you're pretty smart in school. You're doing real well, but then your father died. You had to come home and run the ranch, the farm. And then you got into politics, and you served in a House, U.S. House, 211 to 219, then 219 to the president. As you mentioned, you were elected governor of South Dakota. You consider yourself a down-to-earth, middle-class, Midwestern gal. Is that correct?
I think you nailed it. That's exactly right. Grew up on a ranch and never was interested in government and politics. In fact, we never talked politics in our house. I didn't run for office until I was mad. You know, my dad was killed at the age of 49 in an accident. We got hit with death taxes, and I became the general manager of our operation. We were farming thousands of acres, had a big operation, and all of a sudden I owed hundreds of thousands of dollars to the federal government because we had a tragedy. And I decided to start showing up, going to meetings, passionate about tax reform. You remember our U.S. Senator at the time was Tom Daschle, and I started to be a thorn in his flesh and talk about federal policies, and eventually people recruited me to run for office.
Fascinating story. All right, so the book is titled Not My First Rodeo, Lessons from the Heartland. Give me one of the most important lessons that you write about in the book.
I guess it's the lesson of don't complain about things, fix them. You know, we had a world full of complainers, and then they sit at home and don't ever do anything to make the situation better. We need more doers in this world today. My dad consistently said, Kristi, we don't complain about things, we fix them. That's the only reason I'm in the job that I'm doing today. Is it's really hard to expect a lot out of leaders when I'm not willing to step up and into the fire at the same time. So that's pretty important advice. And Bill, I think we're crippling our children in this country.
There's a lot of whiners. I mean, I got urchins, and they're minoring in whining in college now. It's a very popular minor, by the way. And now I'm going to ask you the toughest question you get all day. Are you ready for it?
I hope so.
Okay. So you served in the House of Representatives for 8 years. You respect Nancy Pelosi?
No. I knew her very well, watched her I mean, she's a powerful woman. I guess I can respect the fact that she uses the tools available, but she follows no rules. She doesn't protect this country. It's very difficult to respect someone that you can't trust.
Okay, Governor. As always, a very straight interview. That's why we like you. You're welcome anytime on this program. The book, once again, Not My First Rodeo, Lessons from the Heartland, out today. I hope you do very well with it. Thank you for helping us out today.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Inflation at its highest level in 40 years. Interest rates skyrocketing. We all know that. Market experts like Jamie Dimon, CEO of JP Morgan, not only predict a recession, but are using scary terms like economic hurricane and unprecedented. So, you need to call the only precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They will show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Please call them today, and they will have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA or 401k. They have thousands of satisfied customers. They're the highest rated firm in the country with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. Tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they'll give you up to $2,500 of free silver on your first order. Please call 866-501-5201, 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532. Again, 866-501-5201, or text BILL to 65532. Let's go to Biden. He's in Spain. Before he left Germany, the G7 signed a $4.5 billion, promise to beef up global food security. That's okay. I mean, developed nations should help out. A lot of starving people all over the world. And then Biden himself says we're going to spend $3 billion more in the USA alone in additional funding for nobody really quite knows what. Now, this is Biden all over the place. It's not his money. He doesn't care. And it's just $1 billion here, $1 billion there. Again, I don't mind a food thing. That doesn't bother me. But, $3 billion for nothing. Well, I don't know where this money's going. It's my money. So anyway. All right, so I mentioned that Joe Biden is a man of no seasons. You've heard me say that before. If you remember the movie A Man for All Seasons, that's the play on it. And the reason I say that is he doesn't have any core beliefs at all. Nothing. He believes in nothing. And I'm going to prove it. In 2006, Biden, let's see, that was 16 years ago. So Biden was going on 75 years old. Here's what he said. Go.
I do not view abortion as a choice and a right. I think it's always a tragedy. And I think that it should be rare and safe. And I think we should be focusing on how to limit the number of abortions. And they ought to be able to have a common ground and consensus as to do that.
That was 65. You can see how what a math wizard I am. 65 years old. He's saying that. All right. So, we should limit the number of abortions. That's Joe Biden, 2006. Now, abortion anytime for any reason. I'm the abortion president, Joe Biden. That's me. So how do you get at age 65, limit abortions to go ahead, 15 minutes before birthing, you can do it. How do you get there? And now Biden, not many people know this, but I'm going to tell you because I know it. The reason that Biden has been fairly low-key on the Roe v. Wade decision and let Kamala Harris take the lead, which she will up to Election Day, she will be the abortion czarina. Harris will be. The reason Biden isn't out front is he fears that he's going to get what Nancy Pelosi got, banished from receiving communion in the Catholic Church. Remember, the Speaker of the House is banished from receiving communion in her district in San Francisco and in Northern Virginia. Okay? Biden does not want that. And he's friends with Wilton Gregory, the Bishop of D.C., so he's got a little protection there. Why doesn't Biden want the Pelosi treatment? Hispanic Americans. Very Catholic. Biden gets banished, that's going to hurt him. And he can say it doesn't, but it does. So that's why he's not taking the point on this. And he's in Spain. All right, 30 U.S. companies step up to help abortions take place. They are Microsoft, Apple, Meta, Patagonia, Yelp, Disney, Uber, Lyft, Netflix, Bumble, Comcast, NBC, Warner Brothers Discovery, that's CNN, Nike, Starbucks, Dick's Sporting Goods, Alaska Airlines, Goldman Sachs, Zillow, Chobani Yogurt, Accenture, Hewlett Packard, Kroger, JP Morgan, Condé Nast, Levi Strauss, Match.com, CVS, Bank of America, H&M, Google. All of those companies will pay for abortion travel if their employees are in a red state where abortion is restricted. Those companies will pick up the tab for the person to travel to a blue state to have the abortion. You should know this. You should know what they're doing. Now, Patagonia is one of the most extreme, along with Dick's Sporting Goods. Isn't that interesting, Dick's Sporting Goods? Anyway, Patagonia is based in Ventura, California. It's an outdoor clothing retailer. You've heard about it. It's big on reproductive justice. And it's not only picking up the tab, but it's training people to protest against the Supreme Court decision. This is Patagonia, training their own employees. And if you get arrested in a protest, which means you would have to, violate a law, they'll bail you out, Patagonia. So I got to tell you, Patagonia and me, no, that's not going to happen. And I'll tell you, look, I'm not extremist. You saw the debate last night. All right, you know where I am. But I'm not, dude, this is ridiculous. So Patagonia, okay, fine. Not me. Not buying it. AMAC, the Association of Mature American Citizens, is the leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization in America. I am an AMAC member, and you should be too. AMAC gives you access to exclusive benefits, insightful takes on today's news, and a magazine full of uncensored content that you will not find anywhere else. Most importantly, AMAC is working tirelessly to preserve the freedoms enshrined and secured by our Constitution. AMAC has become one of the most impactful organizations in America because more than just talk, AMAC gets things done. They are pushing back against the efforts to defund our police, weaken the borders, and replace your freedom with government control. But they need your help. Stand with me and more than 2 million patriots and join AMAC today at amac.us. That's AMAC.us. amac.us, and tell them O'Reilly sent you. Here is the final thought of the day. So I get a lot of mail about shows that we've done in the past and people didn't see them or they misheard. If you are BillO'Reilly.com Premier Concierge member, you can get the shows from day one. Okay, so you go to the BillO'Reilly.com, and a week's worth of clips and interviews are on the left side. Click them on. So 1 week, they're there. Then after that, there's a little magnifying glass on the right side of the, right? You click that on, and then you just type in something like John Stossel interview, or if you're on your phone, it's the same thing. You click the menu bar, Bernie Goldberg interview, or 2,000 Mules, or whatever it is, and it'll pop up for you. And we keep a vast archive. All Concierge and Premium members on BillO'Reilly.com are entitled to transcripts every night. You get them free. So you want to see what we're doing, what we're saying, you want to have a little discussion with your friends, get those transcripts. So look, this website enhances your life. I can't say it enough. You're wasting your time on network and cable news. They're not going to tell you much. Not going to learn much. Here you will every single day. And I thank everybody for watching and listening on our 100 radio stations across the country, taking the No Spin News. We will see you tomorrow. If you are stuck in a timeshare and you haven't called Lone Star Transfer yet, what are you waiting for? Lone Star Transfer has helped more than 16,000 happy customers. They are family-owned, have a 99% success rate. Their process is done legally, ethically, and quickly. I mean, does it get better than that? The team at Lone Star Transfer will keep you informed every step of the way until you are legally and permanently released from your timeshare. So don't pay another penny for a timeshare you don't use. Get peace of mind today with Lone Star Transfer. They guarantee the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. Give Lone Star Transfer a call for a free no-obligation consultation. 855-551-7066, 855-551-7066, or online at lonestartransfer.com.
Bill O'Reilly is back on TV and only on The First. No Spin News, every weeknight at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on The First.